Why my house look like I'm in place?
Alright guys, you already know what it is, when it is, and you know what we do. It is your boy Nemo, and today I'm gonna give you my full review on the video game Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Alright, so there's so many mixed reviews about the game, and I'm honestly kind of tired of it because everybody's opinion, it's very not credible, I guess we should say. And it's so annoying because a lot of people who are talking about this game haven't even played the game. Like, what? So I can honestly tell you this is probably the most accurate, most honest review of the game you'll ever watch on the internet. But you know me, I don't like wasting any time, so we're just gonna dive right into it. Alright, so going into the first point of talking about this game, we're gonna be talking about the price point. This game is not good and it's not bad either. It's quite literally just, you know, another game. Not to diminish the effort and the hard work that the developers put into this game, but here's the thing. This game is not worth $70. But before everybody jumps to my comment section and agrees with that point, one thing I want to make very clear, abundantly clear, is that right now, with the current state of games right now, the majority of the games are not worth $70. Now, this might be a little bit of a hot take, but some of the games that I could think of off of the top of my head that are worth $70 right now are Warframe, Genshin Impact, and Fortnite. And considering the amount of content that Fortnite has been giving us, it's worth $80. And I know that may sound crazy to some of you, but Fortnite has been doing the damn thing. I think it's just really unfortunate how they're increasing the prices of these games but decreasing the amount of content that we get, quite literally making it not worth the money. And on the surface level of things, a lot of people are going to blame the developers of this, but honestly, in my opinion, from, you know, observing everything, I think this is at fault of the publishers and not the developers. Now, most people don't realize that publishing and developing are two separate things, and majority of the time it's the publishers who are not giving the resources that the developers need to make a good game. With the publishers, it's all about just the cash grab. And on top of that, it's all about moving at a high rate, trying to pump out, you know, video games to make money. And so not only are these publishers forcing these developers to make, you know, high quality content in such a short a span of time, it's not allowing the developers to actually take their time with games. They're gonna say, oh, it took them 7 to 9 years to make this game. Well, newsflash, to be honest with you, it does take a long time to make video games. It takes a long time to make an album. It takes a long time to make a movie. So honestly, I think the normal thing to do is to take anywhere between 10 to 13 years to make a game. I think it's the gaming community who is so out of touch with actually consuming good content that they expect these games to be pumped out every 5 to 6 years, and that's just unrealistic. So with that being said, yes, this game is not worth $70, but one, that doesn't make it a bad game, and two, no games are worth $70. Case in point. So the second thing I want to talk about in this review is the launch of the game. A lot of people really expect video game launches to be perfect. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I hate when people use the bad launch excuse to call a game bad, because people don't realize that technology is constantly evolving. We went from console wars to PC gaming being the new normal. Because of that, these developers are working extremely hard to keep up with the technology that's evolving. So they're making games, or at least trying to make games, that could be compatible with the technology that we're getting for our PCs and consoles. So yes, there's gonna be server issues. Of course, there are gonna be crashes, but I'm sorry if this is a hard pill for some of you gamers to swallow, but this is the new normal. Not having a perfect game launch is the new normal, and you need to get over it. Honestly, the launch of Suicide Squad wasn't even that bad. Obviously, there were some hiccups, bugs, and crashes. Recently, a game came out called The Day Before, and that was the worst launch that I've ever seen in my entire life. And are you really gonna sit here and convince yourself and tell other people that the Suicide Squad launch was just as bad as The Day Before? Come on now, be so for real. And this is why I feel bad for the game Anthem, because I thoroughly enjoyed Anthem and people were using the launch to abandon the game, and honestly by the time the updates started to roll out, people were already gone, so nobody was playing it, and it was so heartbreaking to watch. So yeah, that's that. The launches of games will not be perfect because of the technology that we have. And I know some of you are going to be really mad hearing that, but it's truth. So I don't know, argue with the wall about it. Now let's actually talk about the game. So for starters, I want to talk about the story real quick. Now the story may seem generic at first, but overall it's very enjoyable. Yes, it's your cliche save the world, save this city type story, and yes, we've seen villains do acts of service for the good of the community, but the reason why the story was so good is because of the accurate portrayals of the character really elevated the story, and it made you really like lock in. And I know when this game was announced and the synopsis of the game was released, everybody was like, how is the Suicide Squad gonna kill the Justice League? That's so unrealistic. They would watch the Suicide Squad, easy, you know, whatever. But the reason why I felt super connected with this story because of the accurate portrayals of the characters is because they were very true to the source material. Perfect example, which is basically the thesis of this entire game, is that one scene where Amanda Waller basically tells the Suicide Squad that their new mission is to kill the Justice League. Their reaction is that they looked at her like they were crazy, and they looked at her like, the fuck did you just say?
Oh.
We've got no chance. I've eaten fish tougher than this bloke.
And I thought that was hilarious because like we as the audience had that same reaction, so it was really cool. Also, I want to talk about the character design itself. I absolutely love the character designs of each character in the video game. The character designs of this game really remind me of the character designs from the Guardians of the Galaxy video game that came out recently. Well, not recently, like a couple of years ago recently, but you know what I mean. And the reason why I'm making the two comparisons is because the character designs in this game is very comic book accurate, but still new and had the developers own taste and take on the characters. Now, one character design specifically that blew my mind was Harley Quinn, because they made her look exactly like Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn from the Suicide Squad movie. And it was actually kind of scary. And honestly, I thought they basically just copied and pasted her face. And it was mind-blowing how they made her look exactly like Margot Robbie. Alright, now that we got the little stuff out of the way, let's get into the main stuff that people are talking about. Now, I was really liking the combat mechanics of the game, but I was really taken back by the traversal mechanics of the game. The traversal was really beneficial in combat, but it wasn't beneficial when traveling from one point to another. Now, the reason why this kind of bothered me a little bit is because there's only one fast travel point in the entire game, and that is the Hall of Justice. Every other location you have to travel there by yourself, and that's totally fine because, you know, you have a traversal system. But the thing is, there are only two characters with very reliable traversal systems when traveling from point A to point B, and that is Boomerang and King Shark. Those are like the only two characters who had viable traversal systems from traveling long distances. But with characters like Deadshot and Harley Quinn, it felt like a major setback. And you would think that if Deadshot has a jetpack, it would be viable to just go straight forward from one place to another. Absolutely not. And at the beginning of the game, I thought, okay, the jetpack is for Deadshot is not really working for me, so I know there's gonna be jetpack and traversal upgrades. Even after farming the game and upgrading my traversal system for that character, it still wasn't enough, or it felt like it wasn't enough. So that was really a setback for me and really made me upset. Alright, so up next we're going to be talking about the actual missions in the game. The only critique that I've seen in a lot of people's reviews that I actually agree with is that the missions are very identical. Now, there are 4 to 6 different types of missions that you could play in the game, but the only thing is the side missions are very identical to the main missions. So it felt like a constant 24/7 farm of side missions, and it felt like the bosses were the only main missions, if that makes any sense. And this was very interesting because in a way you have to farm the game in order to increase your skills and unlock skills within the skill tree so that you could level up and defeat each boss. But to make the main missions not you know, stand out in a way was very disappointing. And this is where my main point of this critique in the game comes in, is because I think where this game failed is that it was trying to be two separate things at once. On one hand, it's trying to be a very immersive single player story campaign game, and on the other hand, it's trying to be a looter shooter game, hence the reason why it is a live service game. Now, as far as it being a single player story campaign game, I feel like it actually meets all the standards that come along with a single player game. But I feel like where they dropped the ball in this game is it being a looter shooter. And one of the main reasons why I think it fumbles the bag when it comes to a looter shooter is because there's a lot of farming, but not that much loot. And I think the problem is that they really focused on it being a story game, that they focus less on it being a looter shooter. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some games out there that succeed at being multiple things at once, but unfortunately, this game did not. Now, one more thing I want to talk about before I go into like my closing segment of this review. The boss fights were actually really fun. I don't know who was saying that the boss fights were really annoying, but it was very accurate to the continuity of the character. And to that one IGN reporter who said that fighting the Flash in this game was really annoying, he actually lied to you. It wasn't annoying at all. It was actually fairly easy to fight him. Now, one boss that was extremely annoying to fight was Superman, but like I said before, it was very accurate to the continuity of the character. Because you're the Justice League going up against Superman, of course it's going to be difficult. I think it took me 2 times to beat Superman, but once you get the hang of the pattern, just like every other game, you'll be totally fine. Now, that's all I really have for the review of this game. If I missed anything, or if you want me to talk about anything else in this game, please let me know and I'll make a video about it. But overall, my general consensus of the game is that it's not good and it's not bad either. And that's unfortunate because if you have a mediocre game, it's not going to be worth $70, like I said at the beginning of the video. So to any other content creator who was saying this game is horrible, it's bad, or to anybody else who hasn't even played the game and said it was bad, you guys have a lot of self-reflecting to do, because it's crazy how the gaming community has evolved in the past couple of years, and it really worries me. It really does worries me, and I'm very concerned. But overall, this game is not as bad as you think it is. If you want to give it a try, I do recommend this game, but wait for it to go on sale so that you could get your money's worth. Because as of right now, $70 for the state that the game is in right now, unfortunately, it's not worth it, but it's still an okay game. It's not that bad. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching. If you made it to the end, I really do appreciate you guys. I said I was going to be more consistent with my YouTube channel, and I've been doing so well so far. We haven't missed the uploads since the 1st of January. So I said that 2024, we're going to be on a roll, and so far we are on a roll, and I'm super proud of myself for that. So I know I uploaded twice this week. I uploaded on Wednesday, and I uploaded today. So I'll see you next week, Wednesday at 2 p.m. for another YouTube video. And I do stream. I stream every Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday at 6 p.m. So be sure to stop by the Twitch stream and vibe out with your boy. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. Peace, love, happiness, and positivity. I love y'all. I'll see you later.
I do damage, and they can't stand it. Psycho, Bandit, like it's Marilyn Manson. Got the cash advancing, get this right and enhance it. Put a